Hi, welcome to Live and Life Liberation, where our podcasts are raw, real, and unfiltered. I have with me today Ainsley McSorley. Welcome.
Thank you.
Yes, it's so nice to see you. So I'm actually going to share a little bit of background information about her. Okay. So, Ainsley McSorley is a confidence and authenticity coach dedicated to helping women break free from limiting beliefs, societal expectations, and self-imposed labels, specializing in guiding women, particularly mothers, through a journey of rediscovery, empowerment, and financial freedom. She is passionate about helping them reclaim their voices, embrace their truth, and build lives filled with confidence, joy, and abundance. From fitness to full transformation. With over 15 years of experience in coaching and transformation, Ainsley began her career in fitness and nutrition, opening her first private boutique studio immediately after university. Her success quickly expanded to 5 locations, and as a professional fitness athlete, sponsored athlete, and fitness model, she thrived in the world of health and performance. However, after becoming a mother in 2016, her perspective shifted. She recognized that true transformation extends beyond physical fitness. It begins with mindset, self-talk, deep unconscious patterns. Her personal journey through growth, spiritual awakening, and overcoming emotional and financial challenges ultimately led to the work she does today, empowering women to step into their most confident, authentic selves. Welcome, Ainsley. It's so nice to see you.
Thank you so much. It's great to see you as well. Thanks for having me.
Yeah, same here. So my first question for you is, can you share some of the trials and tribulations that you encountered in your journey?
Yeah, absolutely. I've recently been able to kind of put it into four graduations, let's call it four chapters. And so when I look back on the period of my life where I was so heavily into fitness, it's like I can now see why I was doing that. It was a sense of control. It was a sense of words of affirmation that I wasn't getting from my personal life. And so when I was able to break free of that, it was like, okay, hold on a second. I actually can find that fulfillment from within. And why I say it was a sense of control, it was like, I know it sounds crazy to say, you're getting on stage in a bikini to be judged on your body, but it's like I knew if I put in the work, I would get the results. Like I could control the outcome, right? And it was just this way of like overachieving and this generational belief system where it's like you're a good girl if your hair is perfect, if your makeup's done, if you're, and I even, no offense to them, but like I look at my grandmothers, my aunts, and my mom right now, and it's like hair's perfect, outfit's perfect, weight loss, and it's all built around surface level aesthetics. And the shift was when I became a mother, I was like, there's so much more to life. Like through my 20s, I've been coaching these middle aged women, and I had no idea. I had no understanding of the place they were at in their life. But, I'm watching them struggle to lose weight because what society says we have to look a certain way, but they're empty on the inside, right? And so that was sort of my first generation and or graduation, sorry. And then the next one was self-worth. I've rebuilt my life not once, not twice, three times now, uh, where I ended up in a very lonely surface level relationship. It was high conflict. And the lesson from that chapter was self-worth. I mean, I had sold my business at the time. I had sold my horse and kind of everything that was my identity to be a stay-at-home mother. And one day I woke up and I was like, the people around me were like, you're stuck, you can't leave. And I woke up one day and I felt, no, I actually can. I'll figure it out. And so there's that self-worth graduation. I packed up and left my relationship as a stay-at-home mother with a newborn, a 2 year old, no job, no business, no family help. And it's like, I don't know why that's been my path, is to why I have to, kind of go through the hardest things. But looking back again, I mean, that was 8 years ago where it's like that self worth lesson. I don't have to stay. Um, and sort of the next piece is like self trust. Okay, I can do hard things. I can figure it out. I can do things that society tells us we're not supposed to do, right? I can rebuild my finances. I can be a mother. And then most recently what I've experienced is the fourth graduation of self-love, where if things aren't truly aligned for me, like I can detach, I can shift, and I can start over again. So, at almost 42, it's like the journey is never ending, and it's just a period of consistent growth and believing in yourself. I mean, I think the journey is a roller coaster where we find ourselves and we're looking after ourselves, and then we kind of get lost, and then we can come back to ourselves over and over. It's not like a straight line.
Yes, you're absolutely right. It's so interesting. Some of the topics that you're covering. I was just thinking about like the younger generation, who are their role models? What do we look like to them? What is it that we're um, presenting to them as an ideal model? I love how you share that it's not just about looks, that you've reached at a point beyond that. But for some of the younger generations, the social media and just, the constant bombardment to look a certain way, whether it's was it BBL, big butts?
Yeah.
You know,
For
and
sure.
and it's the same thing with like, breast implants and you know, people are more than welcome to do whatever they would like with their body. But a part of me wonders like what is going to be the result in the future for you as you get older? Um,
Well, I think a big piece of it is like there is so much pressure in the world, right? And not only the world. I mentioned there's so much pressure even within the family unit, right? And so, having a daughter and really waking up to there's so much more than the way you look. Like joy comes from within. Joy doesn't come from validation from other people because you look a certain way. Um, and I really just wanted to change that narrative for my daughter and for women in general, where I shifted from like, how do I help this middle-aged mother drowning in the to-do list, but she still feels this pressure that she's got to lose 5 pounds? Why? What are you doing it for? Are you doing it for you? Are you doing it for your health? Are you doing it because of expectations?
have you noticed a difference generationally so when you compare your mom to your daughter, what are some of the characteristics that you see different between them? Like what is the dynamic?
That's actually a really funny question because my daughter looks like identical to my mom. It's funny that you actually asked to compare them. Um, I actually admire my daughter because she's only 8, but she has been, I have been breaking free of this like generational conditioning, right? So I would say that, earlier on in her life, I was caught up in like my hair has to be perfectly curled, for me to leave the house. But she doesn't care. Like I have to force her to brush her hair. And she wants to wear baggy hoodies, and I think it's amazing. I'm like, I admire her, and she inspires me to keep unlearning what I've been conditioned to learn.
Oh, that's so wonderful to hear. They're stepping into their own empowerment,
Yeah, really,
even at
really.
the age of 8. Yeah, I love hearing those kind of stories. And I was just thinking about when you were sharing the story about how you left your partner and, moved out with the two kids without security in what was going to be offered next for you. Um, So this is a good question too, just for anybody listening. Relationships, how do you discern when to leave one or continue?
Hmm. That is the hardest thing. I've had three major breakups in my journey. And there was a piece of me at one point that was like a little embarrassed about that. Um, but every single one of them has been a part of my awakening. And I remember very clearly when I was trying to decide, do I leave my kid's dad or not? I remember on the phone with my girlfriend being like, I'm looking at my clients who were 10 years older than me. Like, how come they get to have a marriage where they stay in? How come do you think they're happy, And why is this my journey? Like, it didn't feel fair. And I honestly will say there's multiple layers to it. And there's not really like one question. It's like, okay, if you are a woman who is evolving, does that partner still fit the version of you are that you have now stepped into? A lot of people, kind of, I like to say it, they'll like get married, get the job, have the family, put their head down with the blinders, and they stay the same version of themselves. And that's, their partner still aligns with them. Or maybe you partners grow together. But I think some questions that you need to ask yourself is like, if you are evolving, does your partner still fit the version of you that you've now become? The second piece is like, um, for me, a big one. And by no means do I support breaking up relationships. Women can find themselves, women can reconnect with themselves without breaking up their entire lives. Okay. This is just part of my growth and my journey is what version of me do I want my kids to have? Do I want my kids to grow up with a mother who's walking on eggshells or who gets yelled at? Or would I rather them have less material things because I had to leave unemployed, but have a mother who is joyful and gets to sit on the floor and play with them? That was a big piece for me. And again, lastly, is one thing I always say is like, make sure that you've done everything in your power to try and make it work, so there's no regrets. Um, and if it's no longer a good fit, it's not a failure. It's a chapter of your life, and we move on.
Thank you for sharing. For, unhealthy relationships, sometimes it's hard to have discernment when you're in the midst of it. So hopefully that information will help people that are in that space and struggling with whether or not they should stay or they should go.
100%. And I think a lot of it takes self-awareness, right? And this comes back to my core message is like, you have to create time for yourself no matter what. If you're happy in your marriage, if you're questioning if you should leave, no matter what, you have to create time for yourself and connect with yourself to even know, like, reflect on the relationship from a place of self-awareness, right?
Hmm.
um I mean, I'll tell you, my latest experience was definitely a trauma bond, and that is an insane experience. But if you're not self-aware at some point, you just get suctioned, into that vortex, and it's just like you keep holding on to the good moments, and when you're in it, you're just blinded by it. So when you actually slow down and connect with yourself, then you can see things from a real perspective.
Yes, I agree with you 120%. It's so true. It's so easy to just get lost in it. And then, but there reaches a point where it's like, who am I not taking care of? It's myself. I'm in a way abandoning me, to keep the peace or
And you know what? That happens to women, and not only women, but that, of course, that's who I love to help, is the societal pressures. It's not even just the relationship. I mean, we're being pulled in a million different directions. We're supposed to be like the homemaker and the taxi driver and the executive assistant and the wife and the nurturer and corporate in most situations. And it's like we get put on the back burner. There's no time for ourselves. There's no time for us to even slow down and care for ourselves. And that's where we start to, the people pleasers, or we're losing ourselves, or we're shrinking ourselves to just survive in everything that's expected of us, right? It's not even just relationships.
Yeah, no, I definitely understand. Yeah, that it's so funny. I was putting together ideas for a workshop. And one of them I'm going to do, I think I told you, was it pivoting from a people-pleasing personality disorder?
Yes, that's a big one.
I said it to my friend, and he was like, "Oh, a lot of people are going to be signing up for that."
Absolutely. That would touch so many people.
Yeah, well, you have to start somewhere. First step is acknowledgement that you have an issue in that area.
Oh, goodness, for sure. I mean, I can't say I even resonate with people pleasing. Mine is more like use discernment on when to speak your mind. Like you don't have to tell everyone every time you're upset.
Well, the thing is, you should be able to share if something's upsetting you. You should be able to share it, and it's actually you're right, and it's up to them to decide how to respond to it. If they're getting triggered, then maybe it's something that they want to take a look at within themselves.
Well, and that's a big thing actually. People's reactions, you have to start most of us have to keep start asking ourselves like, is that even mine or is that theirs? That's a
Yes.
big one that I've learned.
Well, it's so funny. I had a friend the other day say to me, she goes, Swan, she goes, why are you so anxious? And I'd step back a little bit and I go, I'm actually not. I'm not the one that's anxious. It's actually you.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Sure. But
But it
most
was
people
just
would have
that
taken that
awareness.
on. Yeah.
Well, before I would have just accepted it and I would have wondered why I was being so anxious. But now I can actually when you're able to observe from an objective place, the emotions don't get caught up in it. So there is a certain level of awareness that's needed and emotional maturity too.
100%. And those, again, those are things where if we're not connecting with ourselves and making space for ourselves, you can't find those things.
No, you really can't. You're absolutely right about that. Okay, let's see here. So can you share with us a little bit more about what you do in regards to your services? What is it that you offer?
Absolutely. Actually, I'm really excited. This is the first time I've even announced it. Is I'm working towards a spring 6-week course, and it's called The Missing Me. And it is going to focus on helping women, no matter where they're at in their life, really connect and reconnect with that true, authentic self of theirs. And that's really where the joy comes from in life. I mean, we can sit for 20 years uh, saying, oh, it's my partner's fault, it's this fault, I'm this person because this happened to me, when really, like, the joy is lying dormant inside of us the whole time. And so I'm really excited to launch this in this virtual course and really connect with people. Um, I also use the Akashic Records. I do one on one readings, I do one on one coaching, and I have a free community actually right now on Facebook. It's called the Authentic Academy, Lost Me. And I would love for people to join. So, this is a value packed free community where people who are women who are struggling or feeling lost or just losing that spark in life can really come together in a safe place and realize they're not alone. Starting in January, we're doing live lunch hours there where we're going to do, little value packed talks or give homework or give exercises to do. And this is a free community that I'm really excited to gift people, um, to really kind of awaken that spark within them as well.
Oh, thank you so much for sharing. So we'll go ahead and put all of the information in the chat in this. description box for everyone if you're interested in reaching out to Ainsley. And as we're getting towards the end of the session, are there any questions that I didn't ask you that you would love to share?
Um, no, I think just the biggest message that I want to share is that maybe it's a misconception, is that women who are feeling stuck and unfulfilled don't have to blow their entire life up to find that fulfillment they're looking for. The answers might be right within them. And just because I'm a single mom, that's not what I preach. And just happiness is within. We have to just find it again.
Yes, you're absolutely right. And we've just been so conditioned to seek externally for solutions when all the answers do lie within us, and it's just a matter of remembering or coming back to the truth of who you are.
That's right. That's exactly it. And I started this journey of finding who I was 8 years ago. And now I'm like, I did that journey alone. And I don't want it to take 8 years for everyone else. So
Yes.
let's fast track it.
Yeah, yeah, exactly. Let's fast track it. We don't need to live
Yeah,
the way our parents used to live. We
for
can,
sure.
yeah, we can move forward faster.
Exactly.
Oh, Ainsley, thank you so much for being a part of our show today. And thank you everybody for listening in, and we will see you again soon.
Thank you.